Let's talk some ACC football. Week 0, College Football Nation. Huddle up.
You don't want none! You don't want none!
Ready, break. What's going on, College Football Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ the Tar Heel. And in this huddle, baby, we're going to do something new. I'm going to start doing a small breakdown each and every week on each and every stinking ACC game. I'm going to give a preview of that game. It's going to be a lot shorter than the North Carolina preview and prediction show. But then I'm also going to make my prediction for that game. I thought this would be a really fun thing to do because each of these games will obviously have a direct impact on my North Carolina Tar Heels. Plus, I just love stinking ACC football. Now, at the end of the year, what we'll do is we'll take a look back and we'll see how accurate your boys' predictions were. The North Carolina versus Minnesota preview and prediction show was just released, so make sure that you stinking go check that thing out. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel because you can never have enough college football friends. Am I right? So let's get into this thing. And just to reiterate, for this huddle's purposes, we're only discussing the Week 0 games. So without further ado, let's head across the pond to Dublin, Ireland, where the number 10 Florida State Seminoles take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in the Aer Lingus College Football Classic, however you stink and pronounce that thing. Now, this is an extremely intriguing football game. Stay with me real quick, okay? Florida State is coming off a 13-1 season where they were absolutely gypped out of a playoff spot. And as if that wasn't bad enough, it was almost like they were publicly ridiculed and shamed because they were matched up with the Georgia Bulldogs in a bowl game, which was arguably the best team in the entire country. And Georgia was also hosed because they lost their first game in 3 stinking years to Bama in the SEC championship game, and they were also left out of the playoff. I really think that there was possibly a legitimate conspiracy against FSU on this thing, and I can think of nobody else except stinking Paul Feinbaum, who was probably at the head of this whole thing. Check this out. FSU replaces their starting quarterback, Jordan Travis, their starting running back, Trey Benson, their star receivers, Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson. And to put a cherry on top, they got to replace their best tight end, Jaheim Bell. They'll try to replace Jordan with a guy everyone knows as DJU. Let me just put this bluntly, not a stinking fan. Malik Benson from Bama and Jalen Brown are guys that could possibly step in, obviously, for that wide receiver room. But I still have huge reservations on the actual abilities of DJU. FSU has gotten a ton of guys out of the transfer portal to fill some of the lofty holes on the defensive side of the football, which has become one of the staples of Mike Norvell, right? He's really good at going to the portal and getting, a lot of the talent that's trying to move on from different schools, and he's bringing them over to Florida State. So they're replacing some things on the defensive side of the football too, but they've brought in some pretty good talent. Now, Georgia Tech, man, let me tell you something, dude. I'm really up on this team. And let me put a disclaimer in there. I can't stand the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Can't stand them, right? But I am really up on this team if I'm going to be 100% with you guys. And a lot of it is because I think this offense is going to possibly be the best in the Atlantic Coast Conference in 2024. Tech return starting quarterback Haynes King almost threw for 3,000 yards through the air, and he had 700 on the ground with 37 total touchdowns. He does need to cut down on the interceptions. The dude had 16. That's a ton. But Haynes King proved that he is a more than capable quarterback. They returned Jamal Haynes, who rushed for over 1,000 yards, over 6 stinking yards per carry and 7 touchdowns. And then Eric Singleton Jr. who had 48 receptions for 6 touchdowns and 714 yards. They also returned Singleton, Leary, and Rutherford in that wide receiver room. Now, all that is behind a Tech offensive line that could probably be one of the best, if not the best, in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The question mark for this Georgia Tech team is the defense. It was horrendous last year. I mean, it was one of the only defenses in the Atlantic Coast Conference that I can think of that was possibly even worse than Carolina's. It was one of the worst in the country. Now, Brent Key, he basically hired an entirely new defensive staff on that side of the football. So the question is how quickly can they, if at all, improve and help out that potent offense? Here's the keys. Simple. Florida State needs to run the football on that Georgia Tech defensive front, establish the run early. Key for Georgia Tech, you need to get your stinking athletes in space. Jamal Haynes, Eric Singleton Jr., these dudes are electric in the open field. So what's the outcome? Bro, this one is a weird football game to me. Florida State is currently a 10.5-point favorite. The ESPN matchup predictor gives FSU a 79.7% chance at beating the Jackets. But it's week 0, bro, in Ireland. And FSU is replacing everyone. It seems like everyone. Am I the only one that makes feel uneasy? I mean, good night, bro. Haynes King comes back with a really talented offensive unit, and I'm going against the grain in this one. I'm going to go against the grain in this one. First pick of the year, bro, and this is not just for, whatever you want to call it. Bro, I'm going with my gut on this one, man. I think that FSU is going to struggle a little bit on offense. And that bothers me a little bit, man. It just doesn't give me the warm and fuzzy what they have over there right now. They have to show me. On the other side of that, I know what that Georgia Tech offense is capable of. And I think Tech shocks the stinking world in Dublin, baby, by upsetting FSU 27-24. That's right. The Noles run into a yellow jacket nest. I don't even know. Do they have nests or beehives, or I don't even stinking know, because whatever, bro. But the Noles run into a yellow jacket nest or beehive thing, and the college football season starts off with a stinking bang, because that's a 12 o'clock kick. That's the first football we get, bro, and it's upset city over here. How about that? You can put that in your stinking pipe and smoke it. The last ACC game of week 0 is newly minted ACC member SMU, who travels to Nevada to take on the real Wolf Pack. That's right, State. The real Wolf Pack is located in Reno, Nevada. Now, SMU returns Preston Stone, who threw for 28 touchdown passes last year. They have Brashard Smith coming over from the Miami Hurricanes, with Jordan Hudson being a stud split out wide. Now, SMU looks pretty good at the skill position. Nobody's going to dispute that. But as is the difference with most lower-level schools, which is what they were, that was a conference that was not Power 5, it's the trenches that make the difference. A lot of times, man, these guys can match up skill-wise. It's the trenches that make the difference, and they just don't have the dogs in the trenches. But that's when they get into ACC play. Thankfully, they're playing a Nevada team that no one expects to do anything this year, and that's the case on the other side of the football as well, as SMU tries to replace some guys on the defensive line. Elijah Roberts is a preseason All-AC selection, and they have some guys coming in from the transfer portal to kind of stock up on that defensive side of the football. Now, Nevada has been in a quarterback battle with Brendan Lewis, A.J. Bianco, and Brock Purdy's little brother, Chuba. Sean Dollars returns at running back, who rushed for over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. And then the West Virginia transfer, Cortez Braham Jr., he looks to be the number 1 guy for the real Wolfpack. Will the real Wolfpack please stand up? Go ahead, Nevada, stand up. The defense is a couple of guys at each level, man. I mean, that's really what they got. They got a couple of guys at each level, but that's just the problem. It's only a couple of guys. Now, SMU is favored by 25 points, and the ESPN matchup predictor gives the Mustangs an 86.4% chance of winning. There's no surprise here, bro. SMU goes into Reno, and they get the W, but I don't think they stinking cover in this one. I'm taking the Mustangs 37-20. 37-20. So there you have it, college football family. Week 0, ACC football. Tech shocks the world. SMU rolls in Reno. So I want you to let me know what you think down in the comment section about your personal opinions on these football games. Am I onto something? Or is your boy up in the nosebleeds, just talking out his stinking mouth because I can't see anything? Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we will catch you on the next one, Tar Heel Nation.